Welcome back to the Englit Hit. Well, we're continuing our series in Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley. We're providing an in-depth analysis of each line. Today we're looking at the second line, but I'll read the first couple of lines to give us a bit of context. I met a traveller from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert." Lauded for its subtleties in syntax and diction, Ozymandias is a poem in which grandiosity is seamlessly fused with absurdity. The fragmentation of majestic facade is laid bare, and the line between ephemerality and permanence is hazy. Its central irony that even the mightiest tyrants, despair, fade in the passage of time, boundless and bare, is reflected in its syntax, that's word arrangement, and diction, that's word choice. We're going to look at those two in turn. William Friedman said this: "The fragmented construction is doubtless a verbal replication of the fractured statue it describes." We see this in the temporal delays enforced by the poem's broken syntax, the punctuated pause, a caesura, on this line, who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone." And crucially, where enjambment is often used in poems to create a sense of flow and momentum, here instead it stunts the progress of the narrative. Much like the statue stuck stock still in a desert shattered, the sentence is left incomplete, a stark contrast to the vast grandiosity purported by the pharaoh Ozymandias, king of kings. The alliterative power of the words in their repetition of the st sound into the subsequent line, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert," acts as a stutter in reiterating the faux stature of the pharaoh. Immediately, because of the enjambment, Shelley has insisted on an ironic interpretation of the subsequent line. The "stand in the desert" is not to be taken seriously, rather viewed as the deluded assertion of a naive dictator that his legacy will last. It's the petty demand of an infantile brat, isn't it? This is a line that cries of fragmented grandeur in its pitiful construction, literally in the statue of Ozymandias and poetically in the syntax that we're looking at now. We're left wondering whether this is a depressing verdict on the transience of human power, or a self-deprecating joke. The adjective vast sets up a paradoxical ambiguity in this first description of the statue. Its seemingly immense influence is showcased here at the beginning, and then followed by Shelley's clever irony in coupling trunkless with legs, which sounds like a contradiction, though it's not strictly oxymoronic, because trunkless refers to the absence of the upper body. The plurality of legs, though, is purposefully disingenuous. They do not stand in the conventional sense, because they are separated inanimate blocks of stone, and not, as Ozymandias possibly thought, an eternal continuation of his legacy. Shelley playfully undermines the perpetuation of human power by emphasising the ephemerality of its remnants. After all, it is only the head and the legs described. The torso isn't even there. And we see it throughout the poem. John Leonard said this: "Lifeless and boundless join trunkless in a lexical set, restraining the vigorous reverence with which Shelley reanimates fragmented majesty." If you like this video, please subscribe below.